so we should be playing FM25 right about now.
Uh-oh.
But we're not. So I thought I'd introduce you to one of my favourite types of saves to do to guide us through the turbulent waters between here and the eventual release of FM25. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a save I like to call Outcasts To Icons. Long-time viewers of the channel will already be familiar. It will be like seeing a long-lost cousin at a family reunion, except it's been 4 years and he has a standing desk now. It's me. I have a standing desk. I actually did my first one of these saves on YouTube over 9.5 years ago, which really does go to show that time comes for us all. Call your mum, she just wants to know you're alright. The concept of the save is actually quite simple, but it has some nice little caveats which for me make it one of the most rewarding saves I've ever played. Today I'm going to run you through how to do one, give you the tools to help you along the way, as well as some tips to make your journey that little bit smoother, like a sat-nav that knows when to shut up. Before we fully dive in, it's worth noting, of course, this is the new save we'll be doing over on Twitch for, I would say, pretty much the rest of the game cycle. So once you watch this video, hop over there and join us as we kick things off going for that first job. I'll be making recaps for the save here on the main channel just like before, amongst actual other content. I know, I'm as surprised as you are. Giving me a standing desk was a terrible idea. Every day we stray further from God. So the rules of the save are simple. You have to try to win the Champions League. Wait, that's it. Job done. Let me slow it down. We start with no coaching badges, no experience. What I am to sitting down, our manager is to football management. We have every single league and nation in Europe switched on that at least has a couple of semi-pro teams. We had to draw the line somewhere. We're also using Teemo's amazing databases that extend and add all the nations that weren't currently in the base game, so we have all of those in Europe turned on as well. All of Europe is our oyster, including Lorient, which is quite close to the Bellon River, which according to the one Google search I did, has some of the best oysters in the world. Never let it be said I don't do research for videos. I'll link Teemo's incredible work in the description should you want to download it and use it for your save. Not just this, but any others. I'll also put a download link for this exact save file that I'm using so you can play along if you want to. Note, if you're watching this early on the Patreon, that save file won't be there because I haven't actually finalized it yet. So just bear that in mind. Also, bear in mind, if you are going to mimic this exact setup, your save might run fairly slowly. 216,000 players is quite a lot of players to have loaded, not to mention all of the leagues that we have switched on top of that. So you may want to adjust and season to taste based on the speed of your computer or how fast you want to get through the seasons. It's not really an issue for me because while it's processing, I'll just be yapping anyway. No one will notice any difference. Obviously, from here, you have to work your way through Europe, starting at the bottom and trying to get to the top with the aim, of course, of trying to win the Champions League. However, you are not allowed to manage any team that has ever been in a European final, be that Champions League, Conference League, Europa League, even the Cup Winners' Cup. We didn't bother with the Intertoto because I'm convinced that either nobody has ever won that or every team that's ever existed, including fictional ones in my head, have won it multiple times. Another twist is that the prohibited teams list is actually dynamic, and unlike the dynamic youth ratings, you'll actually be able to see it change, as any time during the save that a team reaches a final and they weren't already on the list, they are now eliminated too. I know what you're thinking, this all sounds like a lot of admin, but luckily we've developed a way to keep track of things very, very easily with every human's favorite type of sheet after bed and clean spreadsheet. In the description, you'll find a handy dandy Google sheet that you can copy over and use for yourself. The best part is we've done the hard bit for you, and every single winner and finalist has already been inputted into the spreadsheet. You should be able to see this fairly easily how this works. The coolest part is if you were to add some new teams to this list just by filling in the same spreadsheets here, it would also update the finalist list over on this side to see at a glance which teams are not manageable. You can even go further and show on this screen which finals a team has been in by selecting them, though you will have to actually copy that over to your own version to do that. So as you go through the save, you can just add the finalists in each year and it will dynamically update for you so you can see which teams are now excluded, just to make it easier to plan your career moves. One more little twist though is that if you were to reach a European final and you lost it, you would have to resign your job, as you would have now been in a European final with that team. If you were to win a final, say the Europa League or the Conference League, which obviously is not the Champions League famously, you are allowed to keep your job because the rules are entirely arbitrary. I made them up. It's my save. I can cry if I want to. One of the things I love most about this save is that it forces you off the beaten track a little bit and forces you to manage in leagues and nations that you may have never considered managing in before. It exposes you to new teams and interesting rules that could be amazing. They could also be awful, like for example, 1 match ban for every yellow card or being forced to play on sand pitches. Yeah, that's a thing. That is actually a thing, as is clay. Another thing I like is that you can't just get your badges really quickly, take over Manchester City and win the Champions League because they'll already be off the list, as well as a lot of other clubs that might not be on the list yet but almost certainly will be by the time you get there. Meet our manager for the save, Roy Fleming. He was a super interesting character in the Malta save, having randomly appeared at 15 years old without even having a club. He's from Anguilla and was born there, but because he technically genned in England, he got the benefit of using their youth rating, which made him a lot better than he should have been. He turned out amazing, having a wonderful career, firstly on loan from Sirens, then to Sweetie United on a permanent transfer, banging tons of goals for them before finally making a great move to Inter Milan. Sorry, I mean Blunieri Milano. SI, could you not have done a little bit better with this? Like, I realise what it means, but just anything. Even Parthenope was better than this. But Roy Fleming was enough of a favourite to make him the manager of this save, and that then means we can use Vidazenia to be the manager of Wisła Krakow in Building a Nation FM25. Hopefully his managerial career in this save is more successful than his international career was in Malta, where he declared for England and then never got called up by them. And lastly, just wanted to offer a couple of little tips for you to help you on your journey before I skedaddle and maybe even sit down. The save file I'm showing you this stuff on right now is a test version, so none of the things I do here is going to make any impact. It won't impact the actual save we're doing. But one of the key things I would say, if you can avoid it, is to try to avoid taking over clubs that have monumental financial struggles. Now, at the lower league levels in FM, as you know, that's everybody. So just try to find the least damaged one. Pretend you're in B&M looking at furniture, right? Just as an example here, you at least want to be working for a club who in theory isn't telling you that you have to repair the club's financial damage. Second here, even have a wage budget, which is a nice little bonus. Admittedly, this is like second tier Hungary, which is very, very high up. Probably wouldn't get this job to begin with anyway. Just realised that was the transfer budget. They've even got a transfer budget. It's usually a solid sign, either that or they're being financially mismanaged. And hopefully after a little while in your save, your trophy cabinet will have more stuff in it than the shelves that I have behind me. We're getting things. I've only just moved in, all right? The other thing I'd recommend, and I always recommend this, is to make sure in these saves that you have agent offers switched on, because you will get so much of your scouting done just by agents bringing you their players. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. I just took over the second job just to show you. And also, if you're sick of receiving emails about every player, make sure you funnel everything into the scouting inbox. It just saves you so much time, and then I always find the list view is a little bit better. It's worth noting that the save file you might get might actually have a few less leagues and a few less players loaded, just as I tweak things in the meantime, because that was very slow just to simulate to this point. And obviously when you take over a club, things will get slower because of processing and stuff. But this is what I actually wanted to show you. These kind of guys here, these agent offers are gold dust. Take these guys, trial them, because then you don't have to scout them. All sorts of good stuff can be done with these guys. I just wanted to show you that now, because these guys will form the backbone of your scouting for a lot of the early parts of the saves. These guys not so much, but these are the ones you want. And a lot of them have really low contracts too. There's less tips for this type of save because frankly, it's just a kind of free-for-all really. It's just about enjoyment, much like FM is supposed to be. If you're enjoying it, you're playing it right. If you do decide to play along, do keep me posted on your progress. I'll be curious to know. And if you want to catch up with my progress, of course, hop over on stream right now as we're getting that first job, or you can just follow along for the YouTube recaps. And a massive shout out to all the new patrons as well. You guys are fabulous, and thank you for allowing me to do this. And hopefully I can now start making lots more content for you now that the move is settled down. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys over on stream. Hold your gun, capybara. Bye-bye.